ABC is probably one of my favorite decks of all time, period. It's literally right up there with Fire Fist, Shadows, True Draco. It's easily my favorite deck. So when you guys, or Dark Magician, it's easily one of my favorite decks. So when you guys asked for an ABC deck profile 11 million times, then of course I was going to give it to you. I just wanted to find the right build, and sometimes you have to construct stuff so ABC can be as easy as 1, 2, 3. Get it? All right, everybody got it? I'm TheCaliEffect, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, then go ahead and destroy that subscribe button. But more importantly, you can ABC Buster Dragon that notification bell, because we just too strong. All my ABC children, stand up, boys. We about to get in there. Without further ado, I present to you an ABC deck profile for the February 5th, 2018 format, plus, of course, those budget options. Alright guys, so starting off with the monsters, you'll be pretty surprised on what we play. We play 3 copies of A, 3 copies of B, and 3 copies of C. I know it's freaking extraordinarily. Why am I playing so many copies? Pause. Basically, A Assault Core allows you to tutor monsters or Union monsters from your graveyard to your hand. B Buster Drake allows you to tutor Union monsters from your deck to your hand. And C Crush Wyvern allows you to tutor Union monsters from your hand to your side of the field. Now I want you guys to pay close attention, because it's very important that I said Union monsters, not A, B, or C counterparts. We actually do play another Union monster in this deck that will blow your mind. Another thing about these cards is while they are equipped to another machine monster, the machine monster is unaffected or immune to certain types of card effects, and you can tell by their color code. A, color-coded monster-like, is makes your monster unaffected by monsters. B, color-coded green makes it unaffected by spells, and then C makes it unaffected by traps. So you might want to take in fact that those 3 things exist and use advantage of them accordingly. Next, we play 2 copies of the other Union monster, and this card is probably more like, it's just better than ever, mainly because we have a new Link monster to play with. And even more importantly, it's because it's just really good. So upon its normal summon, you can target one Union monster in your graveyard, A, B, or C, and special summon it to your side of the field. So basically it allows you a free Link play with any of your Union monsters, which will gain their effects to either add a monster from the graveyard to the hand, Union monster, so you can add armor back to from your graveyard to your hand, search a Union monster, or special summon another Union monster. Another great effect about this card is that it can equip itself to a machine monster, obviously, and make that monster untargetable. So that's pretty damn good when you look at it, making an ABC Buster Dragon untargetable in this type of meta. So those are our Union monsters that we do play inside of this deck. Next, for the off support is going to be definitely 1 copy of the Strudel, the Lost Dragon's Vision. I'm not necessarily worried about this card getting DD Crow with Spirals out of the way, and it's a really good card. Paying half your life points to summon it to your side of the field is almost free, because you'll always be able to activate it and then be able to make Ancient Fairy Dragon to tutor your field spell cards. Next is 1 copy of Supreme King Dragon Dark Worm. Now, ABC is a deck that's predicated on bringing out a lot of monsters to your side of the field even before links, and what Supreme King Dragon Dark Worm allows you to do is special summon it to your side of the field if you control no monsters, which typically lends you a monster for a link play, a synchro play, an XE play. Just a really good card, and they're both tutorable by Dragon's Ravine. Now, of course, we play that 1 brick card, the Gem Knight Garnet. This build can actually get away with not running Brilliant Fusion at all, and I'll explain to you guys that a little later. That's it for the monsters. For the fake monsters, 3 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, and 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Now, normally when I tell people, if you can't afford Ash Blossoms, run Ghost Ogres, but as you can see, they're kind of both in there. But of course, like I said before, we have those budget options for you guys, so sit tight. Basically, I run 3 copies of Ghost Ogre. I kind of wanted to run 2. I didn't want to run 6 hand traps. I wanted to run 5, but I just didn't see a reason not to. Ghost Ogre, I think, is going to be a really good card for this format, being able to get rid of problematic threats, and then Ash Blossom preventing the search. I don't think that hand traps are that necessary, but looking at the most competitive deck right now, which is Pendulum Magician, this is like, it should be able to help you knock out the deck before it can get going. So that's it for the monsters at what I believe is 20. For the spells, of course, 3 copies of Brilliant Fusion. You kind of need that unless you're playing just a dead Garnet for no reason. 3 copies of Union Hanger. This is literally the best card of the deck behind B, mainly because upon its activation, it searches you a Union monster. And then when a Union monster is summoned, you can equip a Union monster to it. So it's really, really busted. And it's why we play cards like Destrudo, because we want to see this card as fast as possible. Dragon Ravine technically acts as a 4th and 5th Union Hanger, because through the combo, you're allowed to activate Union Hanger and then gain all your effects. 3 copies of Terraforming to, guess what? You're going to search either Union Hanger or Dragon Ravine. And then that 1 copy of Set Rotation, because we do play 2 different field spells. We can set rotation and get the card that we need. There's actually times where, yes, Dragon Ravine is more important than Union Hanger. I never would have thought, but it happens. 1 copy of Foolish Burial to send the Destrudo Nudo, or to send the Dark Worm or whatever ABC Union monster counterpart that you need to the graveyard, possibly for a heavy mech support armor play. Like I said, I do see Pendulum Magician being a really good deck and being an overly dominant deck, at least in the beginning. So I'm mainboarding 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone, and basically it helps me disrupt their scales. If you guys don't think or don't see your meta with that many, pendulum based decks, go ahead and cut these. It's a 42 card deck, so you can bring it down to 40 by cutting both of those. And then of course, Monster Reborn. It allows you to special summon monsters from your graveyard or your opponent's graveyard. I mean, that's especially good in this deck. So that's it for the spells at what I think is 16. Quite a lot of spells, so I didn't want to run Imperial Order, but no, I didn't want to run Imperial Order. So for the traps, of course, we actually play traps. So 3 copies of Solemn Strike, really good against the opponent. If we go first and we make a decent board, I don't think our opponent's going to be able to get through our Buster Dragon, either Saryuja or Decode Talker, and our back row. 1 copy of Solemn Judgment, been checking hoes since 2002, and then 1 copy of Solemn Warning. If you guys watch my rap video, you should already know Solemn Strike, Solemn Judgment, Solemn Warning. You should take this as your only warning. I'm taking over field spells, Terraforming, for the people that don't know, y'all whack. And then lastly is the copy of Skill Drain. This card ruins your opponent's day. Now, I know you guys have probably added up quite a bit of life points that you pay inside of this deck with the Cosmic Cyclone, the warnings, the skill drains. Look, life points don't really matter. I mean, I'm just gonna tell you guys like that. Life points don't mean anything, and the odds of you drawing every single one of these cards and one of them being dead for life points, I highly doubt it's gonna happen. But you always have those players that are gonna complain and say that. But hey, if you pay the cost to be the boss, it ain't nothing to it, bro. You probably gonna win the game just off of these hand traps. That's it for the main deck. For the extra deck, 3 copies of ABC Buster Dragon. Best card in the extra deck, because it's what the deck is predicated off of. Being able to banish cards on your opponent's side of the field and then tribute it on your opponent's turn to special summon A, B, and C, which then will gain their effects when sent to the graveyard, is amazing. The Gem Knight Seraph Knight, again, you can completely drop the entire Brilliant Fusion Gem Knight Seraph Knight and be perfectly okay. Like, play more Ravines, play Dark Worms, play Desires if you guys wanted to. But legitimately, I think if you resolve Brilliant Fusion in this deck, the odds of you winning are just, it's phenomenal, because you get to send an ABC counterpart, which is a heavy mech target, and then you go off. If your opponent does Ash Blossom it, then you just activate Terraforming and then go around with your other combos. So literally, Brilliant Fusion is Ash Blossom bait more often than not. And then when it does go off, it's like, okay, now I really win. And then obviously it adds a level of consistency to the deck. 1 copy of Borlo, bragging for when I want to steal your bitch and never give her back. This card actually did change the deck a lot. Is Saryuja Skull Dread. Card's freaking amazing. I don't know what was I doing without this. So basically, another reason why I wanted to play the Brilliant Fusion route is because Saryuja can make those dead cards live again. Let's say if you draw that Gymnard Garnet, you summon their Saryuja, you draw 4 cards, which is very easy for this deck to summon A, B, C, and another monster, heavy mech, quote unquote. You summon Saryuja, you draw 4 cards, and then you put the Garnet back to your deck, and now you can activate Brilliant Fusion. It allows you to special summon monsters to your side of the field. So looking at those Union monsters, and then it gives your monsters attack, like a 2200 attack. A Assault Core is pretty damn good. Saryuja, I don't know what I was doing without this card. 2 copies of Decode Talker. You still can make this card fairly easy. A lot of times I actually use the Decode Talker to make the Saryuja just to get an ABC counterpart off the field to extend my combos, and then other times I summon Decode Talker because it still has a very great effect. 1 copy of Qliphort Genuis. This actually took part in a place of one of our proxy dragons, mainly because 2 monsters, so 2 of our union monsters can make it. It also has the scales pointing down, so if we wanted to stop right there, we can. That's another great thing. And then it can negate card effects. Like I'll target my Dragon Ravine and target my opponent's card, and they're both negated. It's like perfect. Proxy Dragon is another one of those cards that allows you to tutor into stuff. So let's say if you had a B, a C on the field, and then an A in your hand, you use the B and the C to make Proxy Dragon, or you can make Qliphort Genuis. C's effect will trigger to special summon the A, and then you can make your Decode Talker, which will trigger the A if you decide to have like a discard your graveyard or whatever, add it to your hand, and then make the ABC Buster Dragon with the decode. So that's what that's really good at. It also allows you to protect your monsters. There are times where you can make the, the other way, have a Decode Talker and a Proxy Dragon on the field. The Utopia package for getting over heavy monsters, Baguska, because this deck can still make Baguska Decode, and that's a win condition for a lot of decks. Gear Gigant X, for searching any of your machine cards. Typically, I'm not gonna lie, heavy mech. I'm telling you, this card's freaking good. And then 1 copy of Ancient Fairy Dragon. This is the card that we summon through the effects of Ancient Fairy Dragon and Destrudo Noodle. And that's pretty much it. Now I can teach you guys about these budget options. So for the people that can't afford Brilliant Fusions or don't like the Brilliant Fusion route, I really just suggest taking out the entire Brilliant Fusion engine. You can play extra Destrudos, you can play extra Dark Worms, and you really won't miss a lot. You can play Desires as well, and you won't miss much. The deck will still be very, very good. Your Desires will take your place as Brilliant Fusions as targets. The only thing that I didn't want to do is run the Desires inside of a deck that needed its one-ofs, like its Brilliant Fusion, or I'm sorry, its Garnet, its Dark Worm, and its Frisians. That's why you guys don't see Desires inside of this deck. But for the people that are on a real budget and want to see something different, so let's move this extra deck out of the way. And of course, I already understand that the Utopia package is kind of expensive. You won't need that anymore. Borreload and Saryuja, those are expensive. You're gonna play rank 5 monsters of your choice. And we're gonna go right back to ABC Artifacts, my boy. So 2 copies of Moral Attack, 2 copies of Artifact Scythe. And now the deck is even more deadlier than ever because you have multiple Moral Attacks, 1 copy of Beagle Attack, 3 copies of Artifact Sanctum, and 2 copies of Artifact Ignition. This literally allows you to provide disruption on your opponent's turn, as well as having an ABC Buster Dragon. And if your opponent decides to try to poke at your Solemn Strikes, your Solemn Judgments, your Solemn Warnings, your Skill Drains, well, they might just hit a Sanctum, which will make them pay, or any of the artifacts, which will make them pay. And of course, you drop out all of the cards you can't afford, the Ash Blossoms, the Ghost Ogres, if you can't afford those whatsoever, to make room for this deck. And this counterpart is pretty freaking saucy. So that's it for the budget options. I really hope you guys enjoyed the budget options. For the extra deck, or the side deck, my apologies, 2 copies of Chaos Hunter for Trick Stars. I just think that this is a really good card in Trick Stars, and I did wanted to play Cypher and Gear Gamma until I realized I'd rather play Ghost Ogres in the main deck. It would have helped me solve the reincarnation problem, because this deck does lose pretty hard to reincarnation, but sometimes you just got to risk it for the biscuit. 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird. If you guys can't afford Droll and Lockbirds, whew, man, you guys are making it hard for me. But I guess you could play a Chaos Hunter. Fuck, I can't even think of anything else right now, but I'm pretty sure you guys can in the comment section. Hey True Nade is really good against those back row heavy decks, and I'm like, hey True Nade, give me all them traps back to your hand, then I summon. Okay, all right, that ain't happened yet, but still, Hey True Nade is a really good card. 1 Raigeki for board clearance, and then the Cosmic Cyclone to be able to wreck Pendulum Magician even more. And then the last 6 cards, you guys should already know what they are. 3 copies of Evenly Matched and 3 copies of Mind Crush. Those Evenly Matched can be Kaiju Gamseals if you guys want them to be. Evenly Matched doesn't necessarily wreck this deck because you banish everything except for the ABC. and then they have to deal with ABC, and then you tag out ABC on your end phase. You just got to use it a little more smartly now than before, but evenly matched does ruin opponents' days. And then Mind Crush, you call evenly matched, you call those hand traps or whatever. Thank you guys so much. Again, if you guys want to see this duel or a duel of this deck, give this video a like, post down below in the comment section, let us know how much you appreciate it, and I really do appreciate every single one of you guys. We're going to be throwing up a lot more deck profiles and such, and we're probably going to have some hidden deck profiles on our Patreon, so go ahead and join our Patreon. It's only a damn $1 to get some exclusive content, and then the more you pay, the higher you go up, the more rewards you get. Again, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy. I hope you guys are having a great day.